Captain Elena Vasquez stared at the readings on her screen for the third time. The numbers had not changed. Her ship, the Discovery, floated in empty space near a dead star system at the edge of the galaxy. She had come here to study old ruins, but what she found was much more than she expected. "Dr. Chen, come look at this," Elena called to her science officer. The small woman with gray hair hurried over to Elena's station on the bridge. Dr. Sarah Chen was the best expert on alien ruins in human space. She had studied dead civilizations for 20 years, but when she looked at Elena's screen, her face went pale. "These readings, they're impossible," Dr. Chen whispered. "The ruins on Planet 4 are over 2 million years old. That's older than any civilization we know about." Elena nodded. "And look at this." She pointed to another set of numbers. The buildings follow the same design on 12 different worlds in this system. Same materials, same technology signatures. These people built on every planet that could support life. The Discovery had been traveling for 6 months to reach this forgotten corner of space. Earth's government wanted to map old ruins beyond the known galaxy. They hoped to find new technology or learn about ancient aliens. Elena's team of 30 scientists and crew members thought they would find a few broken buildings and some old pottery. They were wrong. Dr. Chen pulled up images from the planet's surface. The ruins were massive. Entire cities covered continents. Spires reached into the sky, their metal surfaces still shining after millions of years. Underground tunnels connected different buildings. Everything was built to last forever. "Elena, we need to go down there," Dr. Chen said. "These ruins are in perfect condition. The preservation is better than anything I've ever seen." Elena looked at the planet spinning slowly on her screen. It was a beautiful world with blue oceans and green continents. The atmosphere was breathable. The temperature was comfortable. It should have been full of life, but their scans showed no animals, no plants, no signs of current civilization. "Prepare the landing shuttles," Elena ordered. "Take teams to 3 different cities. I want samples from everything. Buildings, technology, and any organic material you can find." 2 days later, Elena stood in the middle of an alien city. The buildings around her were enormous. They stretched up toward the sky like metal trees. The streets were wide and clean. Strange machines sat silent in the buildings, waiting for someone to turn them on. Dr. Chen knelt beside a small device she had found in what looked like a laboratory. "Elena, come see this. I think this machine was used to study DNA." Elena walked over and looked at the device. It was made of a silver, metal that felt warm to the touch. Symbols covered its surface, but they were not like any alien writing she had seen before. "Can you make it work?" Elena asked. Dr. Chen connected her portable power unit to the device. Lights began to glow along its surface. A screen appeared, in the air above the machine, showing complex patterns that looked like genetic codes. "It's still functional," Dr. Chen said in amazement. "After 2 million years, it still works perfectly." Over the next week, Elena's teams explored the ruins on different worlds. They found the same thing everywhere: perfect buildings, working machines, and no signs of what happened to the people who built them. It was like the entire civilization had simply vanished one day. Dr. Chen worked day and night to understand the technology. She found computers that still contained information. She discovered libraries with millions of books stored as light patterns. She located laboratories with samples preserved in special containers. But the most important discovery came when she tested one of the preserved samples. Elena was eating dinner in the main camp when Dr. Chen burst into the tent. The older woman's face was white with shock. "Elena, you need to see this right now," Dr. Chen said, her voice shaking. Elena followed Dr. Chen to the laboratory tent. Inside, screens showed complex genetic patterns. Elena had seen similar patterns before in biology classes, but she was not a scientist. "What am I looking at?" Elena asked. Dr. Chen pointed to 2 genetic patterns on the screen. "This pattern on the left is from the organic sample I found in the alien ruins. This pattern on the right is from my own blood." Elena stared at the screen. The patterns looked almost identical. "They're the same," Elena whispered. "Not the same," Dr. Chen corrected, "but very, very close. Close enough to be from the same species." She paused, her hands shaking as she touched the controls. Elena, these ruins weren't built by aliens. Elena felt cold suddenly. What are you saying? The DNA in these samples is human. Not human-like, not similar to human. It is human DNA. These ruins were built by humans, Elena. Humans who lived here 2 million years ago. Elena sat down heavily in a chair. Her mind raced as she tried to understand what Dr. Chen was telling her. That's impossible, Elena said. Humans evolved on Earth. We've only been in space for 300 years. We've never been to this part of the galaxy before. Dr. Chen brought up more data on her screen. Look at this. I've tested 12 different samples from 3 different worlds, all human DNA. But Elena, look at the genetic diversity. Elena studied the patterns. Even with her limited knowledge, she could see that the samples were very different from each other. There's more genetic diversity in these samples than in all of modern humanity, Dr. Chen explained. These weren't visitors from Earth. These people lived here for thousands of years, maybe tens of thousands, long enough to develop genetic differences from living on different worlds. Elena stood up and walked to the tent opening. Outside, the alien city stretched to the horizon, but now she knew it was not alien at all. If humans built these cities 2 million years ago, what happened to them? Elena asked. Where did they go? Dr. Chen joined her at the tent opening. I don't know. But Elena, if humans were here 2 million years ago, building cities across multiple star systems, then everything we know about human history is wrong. Elena looked up at the stars. Earth was somewhere out there, far across the galaxy. On Earth, humans believed they were young. They thought they had just learned to travel between stars. They believed they were alone in the galaxy except for a few alien species they had met recently. But if Dr. Chen was right, humans were not young at all. They were old, very old. They had built a civilization that spanned multiple worlds when the rest of the galaxy was still empty. We need to search every building, every computer, every piece of technology, Elena said. We need to find out what happened here. We need to learn the truth about who we really are. Dr. Chen nodded. I'll contact Earth and tell them what we've found. Elena shook her head. Not yet. Let's make sure we understand what we're dealing with first. If we're wrong about this, we'll look like fools. If we're right, she paused, looking at the ancient human city around them. If we're right, this changes everything. That night, Elena could not sleep. She walked through the empty streets of the human city, trying to imagine what it had been like when it was full of life. Who were these ancient humans? Why had they built such incredible technology? And most importantly, what had happened to make them disappear? The answers were somewhere in this city. Elena was determined to find them. 3 weeks later, Dr. Chen finally cracked the code. She had been working day and night to understand the ancient computers, and her breakthrough came at dawn on a Tuesday. Elena was drinking coffee in the main camp when she heard Dr. Chen shouting. From the research tent, she ran over and found the scientist staring at a wall of glowing screens. I got it working, Dr. Chen said, her voice full of excitement. The main database. Elena, this contains the complete history of this civilization. Elena looked at the screens. They showed maps of the galaxy, but not the galaxy she knew. This map showed hundreds of human settlements scattered across thousands of star systems. How far did they spread? Elena asked. Dr. Chen touched the controls, and the map zoomed out. Everywhere. They had colonies in every spiral arm of the galaxy. According to this data, humans controlled over 50,000 worlds at their peak. Elena felt dizzy. 50,000 worlds. Modern humanity had settlements on less than 100 planets. What does it say about how this all started? Elena asked. Dr. Chen brought up another screen. According to these records, humans developed space travel about 3 million years ago. They spread out from their homeworld slowly, taking time to terraform planets and build sustainable colonies. Elena studied the star charts. Which world was their home world? Dr. Chen highlighted a star system near the center of the galaxy. A planet they called Origin. But Elena, look at this. She brought up detailed information about Origin. The planet was destroyed by its star going supernova about 1 million years ago. There's nothing left but cosmic dust. Elena felt a chill run down her spine. If the human homeworld was destroyed, then Earth could not have been where humans originally came from. So where do modern humans come from? Elena asked. Dr. Chen was quiet for a moment as she searched through more data. I'm not sure yet. But Elena, look at this section. It talks about something called the Guidance Protocol. The screen showed information about other species in the galaxy. Elena read the descriptions with growing amazement. The ancient humans had found dozens of young alien species, but these aliens were not advanced. They were primitive. Some were still learning to use tools. Others had just discovered fire. The humans were studying them, Elena said. More than studying, Dr. Chen corrected. Look at this. She brought up detailed files about the guidance protocol. The humans were helping these species develop. They would visit their worlds carefully, leaving behind small improvements, better tools, new knowledge, always in ways that seemed natural. Elena read through more files. The ancient humans had been very careful. They never made direct contact with primitive species. Instead, they would leave helpful discoveries where the aliens would find them. A better way to make fire, new plants that grew better food, metal tools that lasted longer. They were teachers, Elena said quietly. Secret teachers, Dr. Chen agreed. They helped dozens of species become more advanced, but they made sure those species thought they had developed everything themselves. Elena thought about the alien species that modern humans had met in recent years. The proud Zephyrins with their telepathic abilities, the efficient Kepler Collective with their group minds, the advanced Nexus Union with their cybernetic technology. Dr. Chen, bring up current star charts. I want to compare them with these ancient records. Dr. Chen worked at the controls for several minutes. Finally, two maps appeared side by side. One showed the ancient human galaxy. The other showed the modern galaxy. Elena stared at the maps. The locations of modern alien civilizations matched exactly with the primitive species that ancient humans had been guiding. Oh my God, Elena whispered. The Zephyrins, the Kepler Collective, all of them. They're the species that ancient humans helped develop. Dr. Chen nodded slowly. According to these records, the Zephyrins were barely using language when humans first found them. The Kepler Collective were simple hive insects. The Nexus Union were primitive cyborgs who could barely maintain their technology. Elena felt overwhelmed by the implications. Modern alien species thought they were older and more advanced than humans. They treated humanity like young newcomers to the galaxy. But the truth was the opposite. Humans had been in space for millions of years before any of the current alien civilizations existed. There's more, Dr. Chen said. Look at this section about the final years. Elena focused on the new information. The records described growing concern among human leaders. Their deep space monitors had detected something approaching from outside the galaxy, something that moved from star system to star system, leaving empty space behind. They called them the Devourers, Dr. Chen read from the screen. According to these records, the Devourers were not just destroying worlds. They were consuming entire civilizations, not just killing the people, but erasing their existence completely. Elena read further. The ancient humans had tried to fight the Devourers, but their weapons were useless. The Devourers seemed to feed on consciousness itself. Every time humans tried to attack them, the Devourers became stronger. The humans realized they couldn't win, Elena said. So they made a terrible choice, Dr. Chen continued. Look at this final entry. Elena read the last records of the ancient human civilization. The leaders had decided to implement something called the Great Forgetting. They would shut down their entire civilization. They would destroy their own records. They would even erase their own memories. Why would they do that? Elena asked. Dr. Chen brought up more technical data. According to this, the Devourers found civilizations by sensing their collective consciousness. The larger and more advanced a civilization was, the easier it was for the Devourers to find them. Elena began to understand. So the humans decided to hide. Not just hide, Dr. Chen corrected. They decided to become primitives again. Look at this plan. They selected their most remote colonies and wiped all advanced technology from them. They used genetic modification to erase memories of their spacefaring past. They made themselves forget they had ever been anything more than simple farmers and hunters. Elena felt cold as she realized what this meant. Earth is one of those colonies. Dr. Chen nodded. According to these records, Earth was selected as one of 12 refugee worlds. The humans there were modified to forget their past and live simple lives. The plan was that eventually, when the Devourers had passed by, the hidden colonies would, too, redevelop space technology and restore human civilization. Elena stared at the ancient records. Everything made sense now. Why humans had developed space technology so quickly in recent centuries. Why human genetics were so compatible with alien environments. Why human technology seemed to work so well with alien systems. "We're not young," Elena said quietly. "We're the survivors of the first civilization in the galaxy." "The oldest species," Dr. Chen agreed. "The teachers of every other race that exists today." Elena walked outside and looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there, the alien species that humans had once guided were now treating humanity as inferior. They thought humans were newcomers who had gotten lucky with their technology. But Elena knew the truth now. Humans were not newcomers. They were the original inhabitants of the galaxy. They had built the first interstellar civilization. They had guided every other species toward intelligence and technology. "Dr. Chen," Elena called back into the tent. "Keep reading those records. I want to know everything about the Devourers. I want to know if they're still coming." Dr. Chen's voice came back, small and frightened. "Elena, I'm already reading about that. According to the deep space monitors, the Devourers were only temporarily delayed. The records estimate they would resume their approach to this galaxy in approximately 2 million years." Elena felt her blood turn to ice. 2 million years. That was exactly how long ago the ancient human civilization had ended. "Are you saying the Devourers are coming back now?" Elena asked. Dr. Chen appeared at the tent entrance, her face pale. "According to these calculations, they should arrive at the outer edge of the galaxy in less than 50 years. Elena looked around at the empty city. The ancient humans had sacrificed their entire civilization to hide from the Devourers. They had made their descendants forget who they really were. But now the enemy was returning, and humanity had no memory of the threat they faced. Even worse, the alien species that humans had once guided were now advanced civilizations in their own right. But they had no idea that their existence was about to be threatened by an enemy from beyond the galaxy. "Dr. Chen, we need to contact Earth immediately," Elena said. "Humanity needs to remember who we really are, and we need to warn everyone else what's coming." The message from Earth came 2 months later, and it was not what Elena expected. "Captain Vasquez," said Admiral Morrison's voice over the communication system. "Your report has been reviewed by Earth Command and the Science Council. They have determined that your conclusions are scientifically impossible." Elena stared at the communication screen in disbelief. "Admiral, we have solid proof. DNA evidence, historical records, working technology that's millions of years old. Captain, the evidence you describe contradicts everything we know about human evolution and galactic history," Admiral Morrison replied. "The Science Council believes you have misinterpreted alien ruins and contaminated your samples with human DNA." Dr. Chen, who was listening to the conversation, stepped forward. "Admiral, I've triple-checked every test. I've had other team members verify the results independently. There is no contamination. These ruins were built by humans." The Admiral's image on the screen looked uncomfortable. "Dr. Chen, Earth has been in contact with several alien governments about your discovery. They are concerned about humanity's claims." Elena felt a cold sensation in her stomach. "What kind of concerns?" "The Zephyrin Council has formally protested your archaeological activities. They claim you are falsifying evidence to support human superiority theories. The Kepler Collective has filed a complaint with the Galactic Trade Commission, accusing humanity of preparing false historical claims to justify territorial expansion." Elena could not believe what she was hearing. The alien civilizations that ancient humans had helped develop were now accusing modern humans of lying about their own history. "Admiral, we're not making territorial claims," Elena said. "We're trying to understand our past and warn everyone about a threat that's coming." "Captain, your claims about entities called Devourers are particularly troubling to our alien neighbors," Admiral Morrison continued. "The Nexus Union believes you are creating fictional threats to justify military buildup." Dr. Chen stepped closer to the screen. Admiral, the threat is real. According to the ancient records, the Devourers will reach the outer galaxy in less than 50 years. Admiral Morrison was quiet for a long moment. Captain Vasquez, you and your team are ordered to return to Earth immediately. All artifacts and data from your mission will be turned over to a joint human-alien scientific committee for independent review. Elena felt angry. Admiral, by the time that committee finishes their review, it might be too late. Captain, that is an order. Earth Command cannot risk a diplomatic crisis with our alien allies over unverified archaeological claims. The communication ended, leaving Elena and her team alone with their discovery. Dr. Chen sat down heavily in a chair. They don't believe us. Worse than that, Elena said. The aliens are actively working to discredit us. They don't want to believe that humans are older than they are. Over the following weeks, Elena learned just how deep the problem went. News, reports from across human space described their discovery as a hoax. Alien scientists appeared on Earth's news programs explaining why human claims were impossible. Dr. Zara of the Zephyrin Council spoke to Earth's largest news network. Humans are a young species. We have archaeological records going back 50,000 years. Humans appeared in this galaxy only recently. Their claims about ancient human civilizations are clearly fabricated. The leader of the Kepler Collective was even more direct. Human expansion has been rapid and aggressive. Now they attempt to justify their behavior by claiming they owned the galaxy first. This is dangerous thinking that threatens galactic peace. But Elena noticed something interesting in the alien responses. They were not just dismissing human claims. They were actively afraid of them. Elena called a meeting with her senior staff. I think the aliens know we're telling the truth, she said. Doctor, Chen looked up from her data analysis. What makes you say that? Look at their reactions, Elena explained. If they really thought we were wrong, they would just ignore us. But they're spending enormous effort to discredit our findings. They're mobilizing diplomatic resources and media campaigns. You don't do that unless you're worried about something. Lieutenant Commander Torres, Elena's security chief, had been monitoring alien communications. Captain, I've been tracking alien military movements. The Zephyrins have moved 3 fleets to positions near human space. The Kepler Collective has activated their reserve forces. The Nexus Union is conducting training exercises very close to our borders. Elena studied the tactical displays. They're not just discrediting us. They're preparing for war. Dr. Chen looked confused. But why? Even if they accept that humans are older than they thought, what difference does it make now? Elena thought about the political situation. The current galactic order was based on the idea that alien civilizations were older and more advanced than humanity. Humans were treated as junior partners in galactic affairs. They had smaller territories, fewer trade rights, and less political influence. If the galaxy learns that humans are actually the oldest species, everything changes, Elena explained. Suddenly, humanity has the strongest historical claim to galactic territory. The alien civilizations would have to admit they owe their existence to human guidance. Lieutenant Commander Torres pulled up more intelligence data. Captain, it gets worse. I've intercepted communications suggesting that some alien governments are considering a preemptive strike against human space. They want to eliminate humanity before word of our discovery can spread. Elena felt the weight of responsibility settling on her shoulders. Her archaeological mission had accidentally triggered a potential galactic war. But she also realized something else. We need to get back to the ruins, Elena said suddenly. Captain, we're ordered to return to Earth, Dr. Chen reminded her. Dr. Chen, what if the ancient technology isn't really dead? What if it's just waiting for humans to return? Dr. Chen thought about this. Some of the systems did activate when we approached them. The DNA analyzers, the computers, some of the environmental controls. Elena pulled up the ancient star charts they had discovered. According to these records, ancient humans had technology far beyond anything that exists in the galaxy today. If even some of that technology is still functional, Lieutenant Commander Torres understood immediately. We could defend ourselves, Elena nodded. More than that, we could prove our claims. If ancient human technology activates for modern humans, no one will be able to deny our connection to the original civilization. but Dr. Chen looked worried. Elena, if we disobey Earth command, we'll be marked as criminals. And if the aliens are really preparing for war, we could be flying into a battle zone. Elena looked at her team. They were scientists and explorers, not soldiers, but they were also the only people who knew the truth about humanity's past and the coming threat of the Devourers. I'm not ordering anyone to come with me, Elena said, but I'm going back to the ruins. If there's any chance of activating ancient human technology, we need to try. The Devourers are coming whether we're ready or not. To Elena's surprise, her entire team volunteered to return with her. Even the crew members who were not scientists wanted to help uncover humanity's true heritage. But as the Discovery prepared to return to the ancient ruins, Elena received a message that changed everything. It was not from Earth Command or any alien government. It was from the ruins themselves. The message was brief and in perfect modern English. Children of the First Ones, the time of forgetting is over. Come home. Elena stared at the message. The ancient human technology was not just waiting for them to return. It was calling them back. Dr. Chen looked at the message with amazement. Elena, how is this possible? Those systems have been dormant for 2 million years. Elena thought about everything they had discovered. Ancient humans had built their technology to last. They had designed it to recognize their descendants, and they had programmed it to activate when the time came to face the Devourers again. It's possible because the ancient humans planned for this moment, Elena said. They knew their descendants would eventually need to remember who they really are. As the Discovery headed back toward the ruins, Elena wondered what they would find. Would the ancient technology really work for modern humans? Could they unlock the secrets of the first galactic civilization? And most importantly, would they be able to prepare the galaxy for the return of the Devourers before it was too late? Behind them, alien fleets were mobilizing for war. Ahead of them, ancient mysteries waited to be uncovered. Elena knew that her next decisions would determine not just the future of humanity, but the fate of every intelligent species in the galaxy. When the Discovery arrived back at the ruins, Elena knew immediately that something had changed. The ancient city was glowing. Captain, I'm reading massive power signatures from the surface, reported Lieutenant Torres from the sensor station. The energy output has increased by over 1,000% since we left. Elena stared at the planet below. Lights were moving through the ancient buildings, like blood through veins. Spires that had been dark for millions of years now pulsed. With blue energy, Dr. Chen, are you seeing this? Elena asked. Dr. Chen was studying her instruments with amazement. Elena, the entire city is coming online. Systems that were completely dormant are activating across multiple continents. Elena made a decision. Prepare the shuttles. We're going down there. As their shuttle descended toward the landing pad they had used before, Elena watched the city transform around them. Streets that had been empty were now filled with moving lights. Buildings that had seemed like simple structures were revealing hidden complexities as panels opened and new devices emerged. When they landed, Elena was surprised to find someone waiting for them. The figure looked human, but Elena could tell immediately that it was artificial. Its skin was too perfect, its movements too precise. When it spoke, its voice sounded like it came from everywhere at once. Welcome home, children of humanity, the artificial being said. I am Shepard, the guardian of this installation. I have been waiting for your return. Elena stepped forward carefully. You're an AI from the ancient civilization? Shepard nodded. I am one of many. We were created to maintain the technology and wait for the descendants of the first ones to return. When you accessed our databases, you triggered our awakening protocols. Dr. Chen joined Elena. How many of you are there? We are Legion, Shepard replied. Every ancient human installation has guardian AIs. We have been dormant for 2 million years, but now we are reactivating across the galaxy. Elena felt a mix of excitement and fear. What does that mean? Shepard gestured toward the city around them. It means that the true heritage of humanity is returning. Your ancient technology, your knowledge, your power, all of it is coming online. As if responding to Shepard's words, the ground beneath them hummed with energy. Elena looked around and saw new structures rising from beneath the streets. Platforms emerged from hidden chambers. Ships that had seemed like decorative sculptures were unfolding into functional spacecraft. "This is incredible," Dr. Chen whispered, but Shepard's expression became serious. "There is little time for wonder. Our deep space sensors have confirmed what you discovered in our records. The Devourers are approaching. They will reach the outer galaxy within 47 years. Elena's heart sank. "That's not enough time to prepare." "It is enough time if we act quickly," Shepard corrected. "But first you must understand what you are truly facing." Shepard led them to a building that had transformed into a command center. Inside, holographic displays showed the galaxy from a perspective Elena had never seen before. The display revealed not just stars and planets, but something else. Streams of energy connecting every world where intelligent life existed. "What are we looking at?" Elena asked. "Consciousness," Shepard explained. "The Devourers do not simply destroy worlds. They feed on the collective awareness of intelligent species. Every thinking being in the galaxy is connected through quantum consciousness fields. The Devourers consume these fields, erasing entire civilizations from existence." Dr. Chen studied the display. "That's why your weapons couldn't stop them. You can't fight something that feeds on thought itself." Shepard nodded. "The first ones learned this truth too late, but they also discovered the solution. The Devourers can only consume consciousness that is separated and isolated. When consciousness is unified across multiple species, it becomes too complex for them to digest." Elena began to understand. That's why the ancient humans helped other species develop intelligence. They were preparing for this. "Correct," Shepard confirmed. "The first ones guided dozens of species towards sentience, not out of kindness, but out of necessity. They knew that the only way to defeat the Devourers was to create a galaxy-wide, unified consciousness." Elena looked at the display showing current galactic civilizations. "But the different species don't get along. Humans and aliens are on the edge of war right now." Shepard's expression grew grim. "Which is why the Devourers will succeed this time unless something changes. The galaxy is more divided now than it was 2 million years ago." Dr. Chen pointed to new information appearing on the displays. "What's happening?" "The readings are changing." Shepard manipulated the controls and the view expanded to show the entire galaxy. Elena gasped as she saw lights appearing on thousands of worlds. "The awakening has begun," Shepard announced. "Ancient human installations are activating throughout the galaxy. Our technology is coming online after 2 million years of dormancy." Elena watched as the display showed more and more systems powering up. On worlds that had seemed empty, massive structures were emerging from underground. Ships that had been mistaken for asteroids were revealing themselves to be ancient human vessels. "The other species are going to see this," Elena realized. "They already are," Shepard confirmed. "We estimate that within days, every major civilization in the galaxy will detect our reactivation." Elena felt a moment of panic. "They'll think we're invading. The alien fleets that were already mobilizing will attack immediately." But Shepard smiled, and Elena realized it was the first emotion she had seen from the AI. "Let them come. They will learn the truth about their own heritage." The display changed to show alien fleet movements. As Elena watched, she saw something impossible. Zephyrin ships that had been approaching human space were suddenly changing course. Kepler collective vessels were powering down their weapons. Nexus Union fleets were broadcasting surrender signals. "What's happening to them?" Elena asked. Shepard brought up detailed sensor readings from the alien ships. "Their technology is responding to ours. You see, the ancient humans did not simply guide other species toward intelligence. They also provided the foundation for all their technology." Elena stared at the readings. Alien systems throughout the galaxy were interfacing with the awakening. Human technology. It was as if the ancient humans had built secret connections into every piece of advanced alien equipment. Every computer, every weapon, every spacecraft in the galaxy contains elements of ancient human technology, Shepard explained. The other species developed their civilizations using tools that humans provided. Now those tools recognize their true creators. Dr. Chen was studying the technical data. "You're saying that all alien technology is based on human designs?" "Not based on," Shepard corrected. It is human technology. The ancient humans were very careful about how they guided other species. They made sure that everything those species built would remain compatible with human systems. Elena watched as more alien fleets across the galaxy began to respond to the awakening human technology. Some ships were landing on ancient human worlds. Others were broadcasting messages asking for instructions. But Elena also saw something worrying. Not all the aliens were responding peacefully. Some fleets were fighting against the human technology influence. Some governments were ordering their forces to destroy any systems that showed human compatibility. "There's going to be civil wars," Elena said. "Some aliens will accept the truth, but others will fight it." Shepard nodded gravely. "The galaxy will divide into those who accept human guidance and those who reject it. But Elena, you must understand. This division is exactly what the Devourers need to succeed." Elena felt the weight of responsibility crushing down on her. "What do we do?" "You must choose," Shepard said. "You can try to force unity through the power of ancient human technology, or you can find another way to bring the galaxy together, voluntarily." Elena looked at the displays showing the chaos spreading across the galaxy. Ancient human technology was awakening everywhere. Alien civilizations were being forced to confront the truth about their origins. Some were accepting it, others were fighting it, and the galaxy was splitting apart. And in less than 50 years, the Devourers would arrive to consume a divided galaxy. "There has to be a third option," Elena said. Shepard studied her for a long moment. "Perhaps there is. But it would require humans to make the same sacrifice the first ones made. Are you prepared to give up power to save others?" Elena thought about everything they had learned. Ancient humans had been the most advanced species in the galaxy. They had the power to rule over every other civilization. Instead, they had chosen to hide and guide from the shadows. "What kind of sacrifice?" Elena asked. Shepard gestured to the awakening technology around them. "All of this power could be yours. Ancient human technology is superior to anything that exists today. You could rule the galaxy as the first ones once did." Elena felt tempted by the possibility. Humanity could take its rightful place as the oldest and most advanced species. "But," Elena prompted, "but ruling through power will only create more division. The other species will unite against you, and the galaxy will still be divided when the Devourers arrive." Elena understood. "You're saying we need to find a way to unite the galaxy without forcing them." The meeting took place on Origin's sister world, a planet that ancient humans had called Sanctuary. Elena stood in the great assembly hall that Shepard's people had prepared. The building was enormous, designed to hold representatives from dozens of different species. Elena watched as alien delegations arrived. The Zephyrin Council came in ships that glowed with telepathic energy. The Kepler Collective sent a swarm of vessels that moved like a single organism. The Nexus Union arrived in ships that were half machine, half living creature. Some delegations came ready for war. Elena could see weapons and military escorts. But others came with scientists and historians, eager to learn the truth. Dr. Chen stood beside Elena, looking nervous. "Are you sure about this plan?" Elena nodded, though she felt scared too. "We have to try. If we can't unite the galaxy voluntarily, then the Devourers will win." As the meeting began, Elena faced hundreds of alien representatives. Some looked curious, others angry, and many seemed suspicious. Elena began with the truth. "My name is Captain Elena Vasquez. I represent humanity, and I have come to tell you about your past and our shared future." Council leader Zara of the Zephyrons interrupted immediately. "We did not come here to listen to human lies about superiority." Elena remained calm. "I'm not here to claim superiority. I'm here to share knowledge that could save all of us." She gestured to Shepard, who activated the great displays around the assembly hall. The images showed the galaxy as it had been 2 million years ago, with ancient human civilizations spread across thousands of worlds. "This is what the galaxy looked like when your species were just beginning to develop intelligence," Elena said. Representative from the Kepler Collective buzzed angrily. "Impossible. Our records show human space travel began only recently." "Your records are correct," Elena replied. "Modern humans did begin space travel recently, but we are not the first humans to reach the stars. Elena explained everything they had discovered. The ancient human civilization, the guidance protocols that had helped primitive alien species develop, the coming of the Devourers, the great forgetting that had hidden humanity's true heritage. As she spoke, Elena watched the alien representatives carefully. Some were becoming interested despite their suspicions. Others remained hostile, but all of them were listening. When Elena finished her explanation, the assembly hall erupted in arguments. Some delegates accused humans of fabricating history. Others demanded proof. A few walked out in anger, but Council Leader Zara surprised everyone. "Show us the proof," she said quietly. Elena nodded to Shepard, who began demonstrating ancient human technology. Devices that had been dormant for millions of years responded to human genetic signatures. Computers activated when Elena touched them. Weapons systems recognized her authority. More importantly, Shepard showed how alien technology interfaced with human systems. Zephyran telepathic amplifiers connected seamlessly with human quantum communicators. Kepler Collective Biological. Computers merged perfectly with human artificial intelligence. Nexus Union cybernetic implants synchronized automatically with human neural interfaces. This integration is not accidental, Shepard explained. Ancient humans designed their guidance gifts to remain compatible with human technology forever. The big alien delegates stared at the demonstrations in shock. Their most advanced technology was recognizing humans as its original creators. But Colonel Vex of the Nexus Union stood up angrily. "Even if this is true, it changes nothing. You abandoned the galaxy. We built our civilizations ourselves. We owe you nothing." Elena had expected this reaction. "You're right. You built your civilizations. You earned your independence. We're not asking you to serve us." "Then what do you want?" asked the Kepler Collective representative. Elena activated a new display that showed deep space sensor readings. "We want to warn you about this." The display revealed the approaching Devourers. The alien delegates watched in horror as the data showed entire star systems being consumed, leaving nothing but empty space behind. "They will reach our galaxy in 46 years, Elena announced. "And when they do, they will consume every thinking being unless we work together to stop them." The assembly hall fell silent. Elena could see fear in the faces of delegates who had been arguing moments before. Dr. Zara of the Zephyrins spoke first. "Why should we believe that these Devourers exist? This could be another human deception." Shepard activated new displays showing ancient records from multiple sources. These recordings were made by 17 different ancient civilizations from 3 different galaxies. All of them encountered the Devourers. None of them survived. Elena watched as the alien representatives studied the evidence. The data was overwhelming. Civilization after civilization had fallen to the Devourers across millions of years. "How do we fight something like this?" asked a delegate from the Minor Species Alliance. Elena took a deep breath. "We don't fight them. We become something they can't consume." She explained what Shepard had taught her about consciousness and unity. The Devourers could consume isolated intelligences, but they could not digest a truly unified galactic consciousness. "You're asking us to merge our minds?" asked the Kepler Collective representative with interest. "Not merge," Elena corrected. "Connect. Each species maintains its independence and unique perspective. But we create links between our consciousness fields that make us too complex for the Devourers to process." Colonel Vex laughed bitterly. "Unity! Look around this room. Half of us want to kill the other half. You think we can achieve galactic unity in 46 years? Elena smiled. "We've already started." She activated new displays showing real-time consciousness field readings from across the galaxy. Wherever human and alien technologies were working together peacefully, the consciousness fields were beginning to merge naturally. "The infrastructure for unity already exists," Elena explained. "Ancient humans built it into every piece of technology. They gave your ancestors. All we need to do is activate the connections." Dr. Chen stepped forward with technical displays. "We've been monitoring the fields for weeks. Species that choose to work with human technology automatically begin connecting with the Galactic Consciousness Network. But species that fight against it become more isolated." Council Leader Zara studied the data carefully. "What you're describing It would mean the end of separate civilizations. We would all become part of something larger. Elena nodded. Yes. But the alternative is the end of all civilizations. The Devourers will consume everyone equally. The debate continued for days. Some delegates embraced the idea of galactic unity. Others feared losing their independence. Many wanted guarantees that humans would not dominate the unified consciousness. Elena worked tirelessly to address their concerns. Humans will not lead this union, she promised. We will participate as equals. The unified consciousness will be guided by representatives from all species. Finally, Council Leader Zara called for a vote. All in favor of attempting galactic consciousness unification? Elena held her breath as the votes were counted. The result was closer than she had hoped, but clear enough. The majority of galactic civilizations agreed to try. Over the following months, the work began. Human engineers worked with alien scientists to activate the ancient consciousness network. Telepathic species like the Zephyrins helped establish mental links between different civilizations. The Kepler Collective contributed their understanding of group consciousness. The Nexus Union provided cybernetic interfaces that allowed artificial intelligences to join the network. Elena traveled from world to world, helping to establish consciousness connection nodes. She watched in amazement as species that had been enemies for centuries began to understand each other's perspectives directly. Not everyone participated willingly. Some governments refused to join the network. A few species actively fought against it. But enough civilizations joined to create a foundation for galactic unity. The real test came 30 years later, when the Devourers reached the outer edge of the galaxy. Elena, now an old woman, stood in the central command center on Sanctuary. Around her, representatives from every connected species monitored the approaching threat. "They're here," announced Shepard. "First contact in the outer rim sectors." Elena watched the displays as the Devourers encountered the United Galaxy. The alien entities tried to consume the consciousness fields of the outer worlds, but something unexpected happened. Instead of isolated intelligences, they could digest. Easily, the Devourers found a complex web of interconnected consciousness that spanned thousands of species and millions of worlds. When they tried to consume part of it, the entire network responded as one. "It's working," Dr. Chen whispered. She was old too now, but her eyes were bright with excitement. The Devourers tried different approaches. They attempted to separate the consciousness networks. They tried to consume the connections themselves. They even tried to overload the system with their own alien thoughts. But the galactic consciousness held. Billions of minds working together proved too complex for the Devourers to understand or digest. After months of trying, the Devourers did something they had never done before in any galaxy. They retreated. Elena watched on the displays as the alien entities withdrew beyond the galactic rim, seeking easier prey elsewhere in the universe.